What's up, Internet? My name is Attack Slug, and welcome back to Let's Mess with WWE 2K15 for the PS4 Universe Mode, the show where I basically talk about what happened on Raw this week and my thoughts on what is going on in the WWE at the moment. So we're going to jump into a random match here, and how about that? A pointless match concerning Wade Barrett and Mark Henry. There are plenty of those. Not, together, but separately. Anyway, Raw started off with a Seth Rollins promo, because of course it did, and they brought back that tired, really old bit from Conan O'Brien from, a decade ago, where they do, the little fake mouth in the face and whatever else, and that was yeah, that was funny when Conan did it, a decade ago, so not super hyped on... By the way, ref, what the hell? Not super hyped on that, but that brought out Cesaro, which I love. That brought out Kevin Owens, and that brought out the Apex Predator, Randy Orton. Now, having four guys in a ring arguing made me think of one thing. Holla holla. So the fact that there is no more Teddy Long to make a tag team match playa was disappointing, because I am all about the random Teddy Long thuggin' and buggin' and having a tag team match. So that was unfortunate. What they did do was book those three guys in a triple threat match, and whoever wins that match was going to fight Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight title in the main event of Raw, which is fine, but man, that gives Rollins the advantage regardless, because those guys are all going to be in a match before, the match. So there was that bit of nonsense. But, it's acceptable in terms of how you're gonna, have your overarching story for one episode of Raw. Anyway, there was a Divas match, and as I said last week, the quote-unquote Divas Revolution. If the whole point of that was more TV time, they're getting it. But now that they're getting it, it's not really going anywhere. And that's kind of been my complaint for a little bit now, is that they're clearly... I'm just sitting here, I can't mash the button any faster. He's just gonna die in his hold here. I'm hitting it, and it's... Yeah. Clearly, they are going... I'm not gonna mash it faster, it's gonna hurt my thumb. And you can't do that outside the ring anyway. Clearly, they are going the route of having Nikki Bella be the longest reigning Divas champion of all time. That is the direction that story is going in, because WWE, as always, for a company that is still largely run by Vince McMahon and his cronies, like Kevin Dunn, that Bucky Beaver motherfucker, the company still are some very petty people. So, the fact that CM Punk left in the fashion that he left, and that his wife was AJ, and she also left, they want to deprive her of her record of being the longest running Divas champion. That is precisely what they are doing. Now, I'd be shocked if they did something like have Nikki Bella lose the belt right before she breaks that record. In any other case of a wrestling thing, that could be feasible, but in this particular case, I think they are that petty that they're going to wait for an actual, we're not going to get a Divas Championship storyline until she surpasses that record, because right now there's no, there isn't a number one contender. They're just having these matches between these three factions, and they just kind of keep going on and on and on and on. And so where is the revolution? That's my question. Anyway, that's enough criping on that. There was a tag team match that happened between the New Day and the Lucha Dragons, I want to say it was. I start getting confused at a certain point, but they're building toward a fatal four-way tag match, and all those guys are pretty talented, so those matches are all good. It just seems like it just seems like they're not, they're kind of on a treadmill, because they had so many weeks in between Battleground and World's Strongest Slam and Summer Slam, which is next Sunday. So there was that. So yeah, we had that number one contenders match which Orton won because, of course, he did. I do like that they're kind of treating Cesaro as a little more important than they bull him up than they had been, because I think Cesaro deserves it. And the more of that, the better. I don't know if they're going to actually go with a Cesaro-Owens match at SummerSlam. I don't know what Orton's doing at SummerSlam. I don't know what Sheamus is doing at SummerSlam. Like, there are things that are, not the most clear yet. Perhaps there are news stories that I missed. But, to my knowledge, those matches aren't booked yet. That should be a rope break. Should be a rope break. I'm right there, ref. Reach out. Really? My hand is on... Whatever. Doesn't matter. Then they had Ambrose versus Harper. That's kind of a bunch of nothing. Like, those guys are both talented, but this story is not really going anywhere, and both of those teams seem like they're kind of on the same mid-card-ish level of, okay, well, who wins, who loses, who cares, I guess. And if that was... They apparently had told Sting to get in shape for that, and then they're not going to use Sting, so that was weird. And then it moves on to Miz TV. And the guest on Miz TV was Daniel Bryan. Oh, going back for 1 second here. Brie Bella doing Daniel Bryan shit in Washington. Obviously going to get huge pops on that. But clearly, PCB, which is Paige and Charlotte and Becky, are faces. Clearly, Team Bad are heels. What are the Bellas? You want to do heel shit, but you still do stuff that's going to get you face pops. You start going for hot tags. Are you faces? Are you heels? What the hell are you? It's really confusing. But I don't like them anyway because they're terrible. Anyway, moving back to the actual Daniel Bryan on this show. Start match. The actual D-Bry, who was there for this Miz TV segment to basically promote his book, and I'm not gonna begrudge him the promotion of his book because obviously he needs the money because he hasn't been wrestling because he's hurt forever. I don't know. He's not clear to compete, etc., etc. And will he ever be again? Who knows? But so yeah, that was to promote his book, which I've heard does not really mention AJ at all, and obviously AJ is kind of an important part of the rise of his career. But regardless, that brought out Big Show, who, when Big Show was making fun of The Miz, people were cheering him. I don't know if Big Show is a heel or a face at this point. And it's Big Show, so he could be either. Who cares? But then eventually that brings out the Ryback, and I was kind of sad that we didn't get to hear Daniel Bryan call him the Ryback. That's always funny. And apparently he has defeated his staph infection. Perhaps they gave him enough Z-Packs to get rid of his fatty deposit, because, he's dumb as fuck. More CM Punk jokes. But that was, they're doing that triple threat because they couldn't do it at Battleground. That, I'll get more to that stuff in a minute here, but we moved on to Rusev. Rusev versus Henry, which they had last week, and the match itself didn't matter. What matters here is that Lana interfered with Summer Rae cheering on the apron and led to a segment where eventually Summer Rae put Lana in the Accolade, which was hilarious. Like, this feud is so dumb, especially with this guy right here, Dolph Ziggler, being off to film a goddamn movie and not being actually involved in it, because apparently he re-signed to a new deal. But this feud is so dumb, but it has the best moments. It had Dog Ziggler. It had that fish being thrown up the ramp. That stuff is fantastic. Another submission match with these two again? This game is just going in circles. Anyway, but two important things in this segment. Two very important things. One, apparently Dolph Ziggler not going to be back until after SummerSlam. That's weird. What are you building here if you're not going to have a mixed tag match at SummerSlam? that seems insane. You're gonna build it for the next pay-per-view. You're gonna drag this out even longer than you already have been. Like, that seems crazy. But neutralizer. But more importantly, when it comes to who is the face and who is the heel in this whole angle, you feel like Rusev is the face here and Lana is the heel. And I say that because look at the circumstances of this particular segment on Raw. Look at those circumstances that Lana was on commentary. Why? Why was she out there on commentary during a Rusev match? What was the purpose of her being there? And she's the one who interrupted and pulled Summer Rae off the apron to interrupt that match. She had A, no business being out there, and B, no business attacking Summer Rae during a Rusev match. What did she expect to happen? That is some heel shit, plain and simple. So, I feel more sympathetic toward Rusev because he's trying to mind his own business. He has a new girlfriend, minding his own business, and doing his thing with his awesome new flag with his face on it, which was great. Like, that makes Lana look terrible. But in any case, if they're not going to actually be having a match, like a mixed tag or whatever, until after SummerSlam, that's just stupid. Stupid. Anyway, moving on, we had Barrett Neville, and this was your finally, it is your setup for your celebrity guest match, with Stephen Amell, who is the Green Arrow on the CW, I believe. I don't watch the CW at all, and I don't read comics or watch comic TV shows or movies, so I'm not familiar with his work. But this has been teased for a long time now, where it was originally going to be a singles match between him and Stardust, because, you know, superhero, supervillain, etc., etc. But now it has been downgraded to a tag match with the Arrow teaming up with the Red Arrow, which is Neville versus Barrett and Stardust. Obviously, Stardust. So, weird that they got Barrett involved here. From what I heard, it was supposed to be The Miz, and that would have made way more sense because The Miz has this whole I'm a movie star actor type gimmick. So obviously having him against an actual actor makes a whole lot of sense. But because of that whole deal with the IC match getting pushed back because of the infection of Ryback and having to have it at, you know, so which that tells me that, hey, obviously Miz was not going to win. At Battleground. But anyway, would have made more sense to have Miz in that match with Stardust against the Arrow and Neville. Who are, I guess they can call them Team Arrow. I guess that's, you know, I don't know. The thing that I think is unfortunately, this particular celebrity is not going to be heel, so he couldn't team with Bo Dallas, so you couldn't have Bo and Arrow. You could also had R-Truth. You could have had the Arrow of Truth. There are all kinds of roster jokes you could be making here with the word Arrow, but they're going with the guy who has the red arrow, so, you know, is what it is. But I will tell you this right now, for anybody doing predictions, for anybody who's followed wrestling for any amount of time, for any reason, celebrities always win. Celebrities always win. Whether it be Lawrence Taylor, whether it be Snooki, whether it be The Rock at WrestleMania when he was, you know, a movie star and fighting John Cena, celebrities always win. So obviously, Neville and the Green Arrow are going to win this match. That is the most in the bag prediction you could possibly put in any kind of a pay-per-view ever. Like, if he loses, I would be shocked. That to me, if a celebrity lost, if a good guy, obviously there was kayfabe, but if a well-liked, popular celebrity lost a WWE match, that to me is more shocking than the streak being broken, because it never happened. Celebrities always win. Maria Menounos, all that stuff. Anyway, moving on real quickly, the main event is Rollins-Orton, and that was a non-finish because Sheamus cashed in. It was the longest cash-in of all time because Randy Orton was out of position and Sheamus and the ref are like holding the briefcase back and forth, and it was so dumb. Now, realize that there's still more time involved there. It is, you hand the ref the briefcase, the ref takes it out of the ring, goes to the ring announcer, tells Lillian or Eden or whoever that they're cashing in. They get on the microphone saying that they're cashing in, then the ref gets back in the ring, then they ring the bell. That is the usual chain of events when it comes to cashing in Money in the Bank. They had more time for Orton to get there. Why Sheamus was holding onto the case and not giving it to him was really, really weird. Anyway, that seemed kind of like a botch to me. But that was Randy Orton being stupid, stupid, stupid. There he is. Anyway, that was Raw for this week. I don't know what's going on elsewhere. I didn't watch SmackDown. We do have a confirmation that it will be John Cena versus Seth Rollins for the main event for the belt, for the winner takes all. And they're trying to trick you. WWE is trying to trick you. They put out that Cena t-shirt that says 15 times on the back, thinking, hey, they won't make a 16-time t-shirt in like 2 weeks, but guess what? It's WWE. I bet you they will. They're trying to make you think that Cena won't win, but come on, guys. Seriously. It's John Cena. Seriously. He's gonna beat Ric Flair's record. The dude's like 38. He's going to beat Ric Flair's record. Just deal with it. It's gonna happen. It's inevitable in his career. It is inevitable. As depressing as that sounds, because Ric Flair is obviously way better than John Cena. But anyway, regardless, I've been rambling on here for too long about Raw and about wrestling. So I hope you enjoyed. Hope you watched. More videos coming soon, as always. And I am your host, Saxlog, and I will see you next time right here on this channel. And I'm out.